Everybody wants to rush to, what do I need to do to create a business? What do I need to do to make more money? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? But if you're taking the same action from that very same lack energy that you haven't dismantled yet, you're just going to attract more lack. And this is an art. Hello, my love. It's time for you to get ready. Because every single thing that you have learned about money, wealth creation, success, and hard work is about to get flipped right on its head. Welcome to the Soul Powered Podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Kiger. I'm a financial advisor turned wealth energetics coach, and I have almost 2 decades experience helping people reach their financial goals. And after all that time of studying the human psychology around money, I learned this, that wealth creation is not just a game of strategy and spreadsheets. It is a game of accessing your soul power. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do during our time together. Here on this podcast, we blend nervous system regulation, spiritual alignment, money energetics, and more so that you can expand your income and your inner peace. This is the podcast where strategy meets soul and your next level expansion begins. This isn't just a podcast. It is quite literally a portal to your next level, and your higher self is inviting you to step into it. So if you're ready to stop hustling for your worth and finally claim it so that you too can make more, save more, and finally live more, then you're in the right place. Let's rise. Hello, my love, and welcome back to the Soul Powered Podcast. I am so excited that you're here. I don't take it lightly that you come and hang out with me every week. I know that there are plenty of other places that you could be, but you're honoring yourself by showing up for your own soul power, for your own path. And we're going to continue on this conversation of awakening the gentle observer in your life, because that's what we're focused on this very first month inside of the Soul Powered Society. And this is really all about becoming this neutral observer in your life. Like, I had the thought this morning that I've had things happen to me over the last couple months that would have sent the old me into a downward spiral like I've never seen before. And there's this unshakable energy that I have now as a result of all the things that I've been working on, all the regulation that I've been doing, all the releasing that I've been doing, all of the structures that I've put in place into my life, all the rituals that I use, that I teach, all of these things that I've been doing. I have this almost more access, because that's what I believe that it is. It's just more access to my own personal power to use to create the life that I desire. And it's not that one person has more personal power than someone else. So I want to be clear. The people that you see online, the people that you see in the world, not even just online, that are living their best lives, that are doing the damn thing, that are making the money, that are traveling, that are getting these opportunities and these things that they want and these ways of being, and they're manifesting all of the things that they desire in their life. They don't have anything that you don't have. I want to repeat myself here for a second because it's important for this thing to land. The people that have all of the things that they desire, they're living their best lives. They're traveling when they want to. They have the time freedom. They have the financial freedom, all of those things. They don't have anything more than you. What they are doing is they are accessing more of their own personal power. You have the same amount of power as them. We all do. We all are born into this world with all of the power that we need to be able to create the life that we want, to manifest the things that we want. The problem is that power gets tied up. It gets tied up in these loops. It gets tied up in these trauma responses. It gets tied up in limiting beliefs and the mental stories that you've been telling yourself over and over about the fact that you can't do this, or you're not good enough, or people like you don't get to experience these kinds of things. The personal power that you could be using to create your reality and create the life that you do want is being sucked up and being used on those old repeating things that actually don't serve you anymore. So you have power to create all of the things that you consciously desire, and that power is almost locked up. It's like it's not able to be used. If you think about a house and the power source coming into the house to the main circuits, it's like all of the power is being used for one room that you never go into. And therefore, all the rest of your lights are dimmer in the rest of the house. And your electronics don't work to their fullest capacity in the rest of the house because all of that energy is tied up in one room that you never go in. We need to be able to figure out, we need to be able to unleash that power, unlock that power so you have access to it. And that is done through releasing the very things that are holding you back, these interference patterns in your field, these unconscious programs. It's like a computer. You need to uninstall the computer system that's running on autopilot, that's running your finances on autopilot, that's running your relationships on autopilot. You need to uninstall those things so that you can reinstall one that you want instead. And that takes time, and it takes dedication. It takes understanding about how to even do this. And so awakening the gentle observer, which is the theme for us today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this. And we're going to talk about it from a lens of why it is that you want to have neutrality when you are in this phase of your life, when you're in the gentle observer phase. Because all of this energy that is being used to recreate the past and not to create the present that you actually want or the future that you want. If you don't even know that is happening, how can you begin to rewire the house or install a program that you actually want instead? It's called a blind spot for a reason. It's like a blind spot in a car. Have you ever almost, gotten into an accident because you looked behind you to see if there was anybody in the other lane, and then you shifted lanes because you didn't think there was a car, but the car was actually in your blind spot? Was the car never there? No, of course it was there the whole time. You just couldn't see it. So if you ever looked at someone, a friend or somebody in your family, and you're like, you know what? If that person just quit dating guys that are not good for them, or if they just stopped doing X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, their whole life would change. And you can see that externally, but they can't see it. They don't even know what they're doing or why they're stuck in the same patterns. But you can see it because you're like, kind of obvious, right? But that's called a blind spot. We all have them. I still have blind spots. You still have blind spots. I don't know of anyone in this world that doesn't have a single block or a single thing that they need to work through. I think that's part of the evolution of being human, is uncovering these things, meeting new aspects of yourself, releasing the things that are holding you back. And the reason that I say that this journey requires neutrality is because what will happen if you attach too heavily to these old identities, to these old stories, to these protective patterns, is they will continue to have power over you. And if they have power over you, then what are you to them? You are powerless. And the only way that you're going to create change in your life, the kind of change that you want to create, is by taking back your power from your past, from your nervous system, from your unconscious mind, from the old stories that are stored in your subconscious that keep repeating, that are telling you why and all the reasons that you can't have the things that you want, or all of the reasons that this is the max that you're ever going to be able to achieve. These things are not true. They're not true with a capital T. If for something to be true, it needs to be true for every single person on the planet. There's a small amount of things in this world that are actually true with a capital T. And I believe that those things are universal laws. We all have to abide by those universal laws, whether we know it or not. The law of vibration, it exists whether you believe in it or not, because like attracts like. Just look around, birds of a feather flock together. Like attracts like. It's the way it works. So there are things that are true, and then there's everything else is comprised of these stories and these perceptions that you have about yourself, about your capabilities, about what you are able to create in this world based on your past and your programming. So if you're going to hold on to stories and you're making all these meanings about why you are the way that you are, why you're still at this financial place in your life, or why you're still showing up in this way, or why you're so emotional, or why this, or why that. If you're going to make negative meanings about those things, then is it any wonder why you don't feel you're most empowered? Nothing in life has any innate meaning other than the meaning that you are assigning it. This is a hard concept to wrap your head around, and it actually took me years for this to fully click in my brain. But I went to the Landmark Forum, which is a personal development event, and it really changed a lot for me. I will say that was my first personal development event. My mentor and friend at the time was telling me I need to go because Eric and I were in the beginning stages of our relationship. I want to say maybe 2 years in, and things were rocky as hell. We were not on the same page with a lot of things. We were struggling. And my friend said, you need to go to the Landmark Forum. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'm like, and it was kind of one of those things that we were at a crossroads in our marriage. We were either going to go to the Landmark Forum and figure out, I don't even know what to expect. I was just like, I guess I'm going to go and give this a try as a last ditch effort, or we're not going to make it. Like, that's really where Eric and I were. So I went to the Landmark Forum and I started learning about how my participation and how I showed up in my own life was impacting my relationship. Before then, I had a really hard time accepting the fact that I was the common denominator in all of the problems in my life. I really liked being the victim back then. And I'm just going to be fully transparent with you, because that's the energy that I grew up in, and that's what I was taught. And so it couldn't possibly be my fault. Our marriage almost ending couldn't possibly be my fault because I tried everything. The thing is, I was trying things from the level of consciousness of a victim. So really, I was completely powerless in my marriage at the time. And I thought that everything was happening to me, and I didn't think that I had a say in how things worked out. And the one thing that really stuck out to me at the Landmark Forum that we learned is that everything in life is meaningless aside from the meaning that we give it. Now, I know that might have some people like ready to click off, and I was 100% ready to shut down whenever the instructor started explaining this. But he went on to say, that's not a bad thing. That part of us having free will on this planet is that we get to choose the meanings that we place on things. And that we all collectively agree on things. Like, think about a state line, for instance. What makes Pennsylvania, where I live, any different than West Virginia, where I was last weekend? Who establishes like what makes this piece of land Pennsylvania and that piece of land West Virginia? The fact is somebody somewhere along the line came and said, this demarcation line means that you're crossing into a new state. Somebody made that up. That land being there doesn't automatically mean, even the phrase and the words Pennsylvania versus West Virginia, or the fact that it's called a state or a country or a continent or the world, those are all things that are made up. Somebody decided this is what we're going to call this land. Like the world in and of itself didn't come into fruition with demarcation lines of where separation was going to occur. Does that make sense? We made it up as a collective, and then we collectively all agree to it. So the earth itself being positioned in the way that it is doesn't automatically mean that these are different continents, that these are different states, that these are different separated areas. That's just one example. And humans are meaning-making machines. We love to make meaning of things because we want to figure things out. That's the intellectual side of our brain, trying to understand things. And kids, especially as kids, we make meaning of everything because we don't have a critical faculty to reason with why someone might be treating us a certain way or why something might be happening. We just have to come to our own conclusion with it or buy into what someone else tells us. And so when someone says to you as a child, we don't make a lot of money, so therefore we're poor. Okay. And then you walk through the rest of your life thinking, oh yeah, well, I'm poor, I guess. That was me. For a long time, I just believed that, yeah, no matter how much money I make, I'm still going to find a way to be poor. Because the strongest force in the human personality is the desire to remain consistent with who you believe that you are. Because without that, then who are you? But you were the one who made the meaning anyway. Because what if you not having a lot of money doesn't automatically mean that you're not poor? Or doesn't automatically mean that you're poor? What if it just means you're overcoming a cash flow issue? Or you're learning how to make more money. You're learning how to become wealthy. Like, why is the innate meaning, I am poor? So do you see how we're creating meanings about everything? You're creating meanings all day. You're probably making a meaning about what I'm talking about right now. Oh, this means something good, or, oh yeah, this means she knows what she's talking about. The unconscious mind is constantly scanning for whether or not it agrees with things. It's making a meaning of this conversation. And then from that, you're going to make your own perspective based on the meaning that you choose. So if that's true, which we know that it is from a neuroscience perspective, then why is it that we don't just choose to make positive meanings of things? Why, when someone doesn't buy your stuff, do you automatically make it mean that your stuff sucks? Or when someone doesn't want to work with you, you automatically make it mean that it's your fault? Or when you don't have enough money to travel and you really want to go on this trip, that automatically means you're never going to be able to live the life that you want. Why is that the story that you're choosing? And the reason is because it's a program. It is something that someone installed in you, but doesn't actually have to be the truth for you anymore. But a lot of times we're walking around repeating things over and over as though they are absolute truth when they're actually not. They're just stories. They're just meanings that we've assigned. And we've likely been telling ourselves these same things for a long time, so the brain automatically knows to go there. Because it's trying to save up brain power. by just repeating a habit that you've had for years. It's like, this is the way we do things. So when you are stepping into this gentle observer role, it's really about, how can I be compassionate with myself? When I start to recognize that, okay, this occurred, what am I making it mean? This happened to me recently. In one of my businesses, I had a client not renew. And it was a $20,000+ income that is not renewing. And at the beginning, when I first learned that this was happening, I started to go into all of these reasons that meant I'm not going to succeed in life. I'm taking a step back. I can't believe this is happening. What, all these different things. I'm not good enough. Whatever the reasons are, I started spiraling. Like all this work that I put into bringing that client on, all of these things that I've done, it's all for nothing. I was just repeating autopilot stories. And then, for my gentle observer hat that I put on, I said, how can I see this as though it's for me? Because it's not in the times where everything is going good that I can just recite a quote saying, everything is happening for me. It doesn't do anything. It's when I'm in the shit that I need to be asking, how is this for me? You see, and when I started asking that question instead, I started getting the truth that this is happening for me. And that there was a period in my life where I didn't even make that much money in a whole year. And I'm losing a client that's bringing in that additional income for me. And I'm still in the top 5% of income brackets in the world. And it's going to be replaced in no time, because those kinds of slings that used to be really big for my nervous system, they're not big anymore. Those kinds of numbers are not big anymore, whereas they used to be. And so my body went into reactive mode into the past of when that was a big number for me. And it was like, we're going to be homeless. We're going to lose everything. Like, hold on a second. What are you talking about? No, we're not. We're going to be fine. Because the reality is that we are going to be fine. But this part of me was like, that's the beginning of the end. You lose that one, you're going to lose them all. And it was just this story of like this other shoe dropping energy that has been prevalent in my life for a long time. But I had to put the gentle observer hat on and work with that part of me to make it feel safe, to see that it's okay. We're dealing with bigger numbers now. So just like we're going to take on clients to that tune, we're going to lose them as well. It's part of the game. If you want consistency with your income, you are welcome to go back and get a job. And then that part of me was real quick, like, nope, I think we're okay with the fluctuation, okay? Because I don't want to go back to work for someone else. And even then, there's not full-on predictability. You could lose your job at any time. This is the road that we signed up for. This is what we signed up for. We know that this is how this works. It's okay. And when I decided that, it took me a couple days because I'm human and I was in a bit of a spiral. But I decided to say, you know what? I'm not going to let this break me. I'm not going to let this break my spirit. I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to replace that income tenfold next year. That's the goal. That's the goal. With one additional stream of income, I'm going to replace that minimum tenfold. And I'm committed to that. And I'm making that happen. And that will happen. And I'm not worried about how that's going to happen because I know it will. And there's going to be fluctuations then too. Because when you're playing a bigger game, there's bigger fluctuations. If your nervous system can't handle that, then you got to ask why. And how can I start to regulate it? How can I start to expand my capacity for those big swings? or those swings in general, because those numbers aren't big to me anymore. But there's going to be a part of you that feels like losing income or losing a client or having someone say no when you were banking on it is going to feel like the end of the world. It's going to feel like you're going right back to those survival patterns. It's going to feel like, oh, here it is. That's the other shoe. Here it is. I've been waiting on it. And you have to be able to be neutral in that and say, actually, what if this isn't true? What if this is happening for me? And if I knew that this were happening for me, what lessons could I learn right now so that I never have to repeat this pattern again? And that's exactly what I did. And I realized that I needed that client to go because vibrationally, we're no longer in alignment. That client was silently leaking energy from me. I was leaking my energy to that person. And so the universe rearranged things to say, hey, you're going to this next level. I need to take away the things that are not a vibrational match to it. Because it's a reorganization and that's what's going to happen. And you need to be able to feel, you need to be able to work with these parts of you to regulate enough, to be neutral enough to say, okay, all of these things are happening and I still can choose abundance and overflow. I can still choose to see this through the lens of my highest timeline. And that's what I want for you. That starts with neutrality. That starts with regulating your nervous system. That starts with being able to learn true detachment and not making and assigning all of these meanings. Because which of those meanings, so let's take a look at it from this lens. Here's what happened. A client is not renewing. What I made it mean was a myriad of things. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to be homeless someday. I'm going to lose all my clients. I'm like listing out all of these catastrophizing scenarios that are like, wait a second. Which one of those is right? What does it actually mean? Which one of those? What if none of those are right? What if there isn't one that's true? It's whatever one I focus on. So instead of listing out all of these worst case scenario options, let's bring in some best case scenario options. Let's bring in some most likely scenario options. So we can see, hey, do we want to choose a different meaning? This is all happening in my favor. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. I'm going to know exactly why this client left very soon. I'm going to learn the lesson right now. This client's not a vibrational match for me. The universe is moving things out of the way so that new things can come. Like, which one is actually true? It's whatever one I pick, right? And that's the power that you have when you can remain neutral. But this is an art. This isn't something that most people are able to do. And so therefore, they create their future from the same reality that they created their past. And that's not what I want for you. I want you to be able to create what you want in this world. To be able to manifest something new. And that's going to take, just like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, he wrote a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's literally going to take you deconstructing and uninstalling all of these things and these ways of being that are keeping you stuck in these loops before you can install new ones. Everybody wants to rush to, what do I need to do to create a business? What do I need to do to make more money? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? But if you're taking the same action from that very same lack energy that you haven't dismantled yet, you're just going to attract more lack. And this is an art. So next week, we're going to talk more about this. We're going to talk about how to know if you're observing versus avoiding, because avoiding is another pattern. There's a lot of people who think, oh, detachment just means I don't care. That's not what it means. You actively care and you're actively moving towards the thing that you want, but you're okay whether or not it's there. And that's the kind of calm that you want. That's the kind of deeply rooted calm that the trees that we see, these big, beautiful trees, right? they're not shaken in the wind. When you have those deep enough roots, you're not going to be shaken in the same way. You're going to have this unshakable, unfuckable with energy that nobody can take from you. And the power that you command back in your life when you have that is unlike anything else. And that's what I want for you more than anything. So thank you so much for being here today. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. If this episode resonated with you, tag me on Instagram and let me know. Take a screenshot of this, share it with somebody that you think it would help, because I want to help. I want to get this message out there. I want more people to know that they can be unfuckable with no matter what's going on around them. That even if there's chaos, even if there's things around us, we can all see it. We can all see what's going on in the world. But there is so much power in being unshakable despite what's going on around you. And the more of us that show up in that energy, the more we start to raise the vibration of the collective, the more people get into coherence, and the more that we all get to experience this peace and joy that comes along with it. So I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, my love. If you loved this episode, then why are you stopping here? The next level in your journey is waiting for you inside of the expansion experience. This is my free training that gives you the 5-step trademarked and proven process to break financial patterns, regulate your nervous system, and finally feel safe receiving more. Go ahead and click the show notes below and let's activate your next level together. And don't forget to follow, rate, and share this podcast if it lit something up inside of you. That's exactly how we build this soul-powered revolution together. Thanks again for showing up today, and I can't wait to catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.